Hey guys, my name is Josh Danker and I am a proud New York Mets fan, and this is my experience on, being on the 7 train going to Mets games every season. So the atmosphere on the 7 train, it's really like just overall great vibes, The fans, they hop on the train and they just show their swag and dedication to this team, ride or die, win or lose, we're all in for another Mets season each and every single year. I just love to see the fans' energy every single game, and when they come on the train, they're excited to be on the train, and they're excited to come to the game and have fun. So, you know, I love seeing that from Mets fans all around. How does it feel to be a Mets fan? Well, that's a story for another day, but the best answer I can give is it's always it's always just, you know, we get our hopes high, and we get our, we're so excited for the moves we make in the off season, a new team. It's a lot of suffering and a lot of, ups and downs is how I could really put it into words. But, every Mets season I look forward to, no matter what the circumstances. It's always, a fun time being a baseball fan. So what made me love baseball and what drove me to have such a passion for the sport was just, how it plays. The game is so much fun. I love hitting the ball with the bat. I love fielding ground balls with my glove. I just love watching the players play and, proving themselves to be the next, GOAT, the next greatest of all time. Just the game of baseball, it's really fun to play, and I feel like everybody, who hasn't gotten into the sport yet, you should get into it. It's definitely a fun sport to play. I played it throughout, most of my life, in middle school through high school. Not really through high school, but I played in, middle school mostly, and that's kind of where I got my first, glimpse of holding a bat and playing for an actual team. But I'm just passionate about the game, and, I'm passionate about, the next generation of players in MLB, but baseball is my favorite sport, and it will forever be my favorite sport because it was the first sport that I ever gravitated to. What's it like taking a friend, with you to a stadium, to a game? I think, just going with somebody makes the experience 100 times more better than it is going by yourself. You have somebody with the same passion, the same energy, and just, if they're not even a sports fan or not, they love going to a baseball game, specifically Citi Field. Citi Field is for everybody. It's for families, it's for friends, maybe just even yourself, at times. But going with a friend is just a hell of a lot of fun. It's 100 times better than going by yourself, and, I always like going with people because they share the same passion, the same energy as me, and going with a friend makes the experience, a whole 10 times more than going by yourself. I just love going with friends, and I love sharing the same passion that they have with me. So going with friends makes the vibe a whole lot better.
So my experience with going to Mets games with Josh is really cool. We've been going to Mets games for many years, and the first time I went was when I was a kid. When I went to my first Mets game, I remember having such a great time, and pretty much ever since I've gone to a lot of Mets games with him. But I'm not the biggest sports fan, but even as that may be, I still have a great time, and the people are great there, the food is great there, and it's just a great community. And even though I'm not the biggest fan, I still have a good time.
So what do I do after a game once I'm on the train? Uh, Basically, what I do is, head to the 7 train, the stop, wait for it to come onto the track, head on, head to the last stop on the train, going back towards home. Every game I think about just, the result of the game and how it happened, what could have gone right, what could have, been better, win or lose situation, what could have, happened better, what could we have done better, what could have the players done better. Overall, just going back, win or lose, it just shows like, throughout all, whatever the result is of each game, we, still show up to Citi Field the next day or the day after or the next month after for which series we're at home. And, we're just passionate to the end of the day, and that's all that matters. So that's how it goes.